differences about them. This is highlighted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a humorous and quite a very striking occasion is described how, apparently every year I've never seen this, I don't know if it still goes on, in Jagannath Puri during the period of Rath Yatra, there's an outward procession, and then there's a 7-day festival at the Gundicha temple, and then there's the return procession. So during this 7 days, one of those days, there's a drama is put on. And the essence of the drama is that the goddess of fortune, who has been left behind, because Krishna didn't bring her, he just came with his brother and sister. And she's, the premise is that she is greatly disturbed at where is my husband? He's gone to see his old friends, and that includes his old girlfriends, and she's disturbed. So the drama is that she comes to Gundicha and she brings with her soldiers, and she tries to arrest some of Jagannath's companions, and force Jagannath to come back. So this is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and while it's going on, 2 of Lord Chaitanya's associates are watching, and they have very different responses to what they're seeing. One of them is Swarup. Swarup Damodar was one of the 3 very intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya, and he was completely immersed in the mood of Lord Chaitanya's mood of intense separation from Krishna and Vrindavan. So he was watching, and next to him was his friend Srivas. I don't actually, if this is the same Srivas from Navadvip, I'm not sure if it's another Srivas. I suspect it might be, but I don't know. Anyway, Srivas, he's more interested, his feeling is more in reverence. And he's basically, he's with the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, whereas Swarup Damodar, his sympathies lie with the residents of Vrindavan. So, to paraphrase, Swarup, he chants some beautiful verses. The land of Vrindavan is made of touchstone and full of precious stones. It may look like a forest, but it's full of touchstone and precious stones. It is a forest of desire trees, whose fruits and flowers grant the inhabitants all their wishes. The cows, grazing amongst those trees, supply unlimited milk, and the water tastes like nectar. The cowherd girls living there surpass the goddess of fortune. Their voices are like music, their graceful movements are like dancing, and their constant companion is the sound of Krishna's flute. So that's the mood, which we generally aspire to as followers of Lord Chaitanya. That the simple forest of Vrindavan is actually more sublime and more magnificent. But not magnificent, it's just it cannot be surpassed, the opulence of the forest, by comparison with the splendor of the city. We're more attracted to the forest. And when Prabhupada came, first of all, to Bhaktivedanta Manor, he was in such ecstasy that now we had this beautiful place in the countryside outside the city. And he immediately began to speak, the very first time he arrived, he immediately began to speak about, he said, the gopis, they're just village girls. And Krishna just lives in the forest with the village girls and dances with them. And that's where we want to be. He was speaking like that, and that's why he said, this place is Gokulananda, the deity is called Radha Gokulananda, Gokula Vrindavan, home of the cows. home of the cows. He talked a lot about the cows. So Srivas, who's standing, he's also a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Because we believe in variety in spiritual life. It's not that everyone has to think in one way. Srivas, he hears these words spoken by Sri Damodar, and he laughs. Because his devotion is for the goddess of fortune who lives in Krishna's royal palace. He's more reverential. That's what excites him, is that mood of reverence. And so he and Swarup, they had a sort of a light-hearted argument about which was better. Whereas at the great Jagannath temple, the mood was of splendor and reverence for Jagannath. During this brief interlude of Rath Yatra, a more informal mood arose among the devotees while they're staying at the Gundicha temple. And this is the spirit of Vrindavan, where Krishna is neither the king nor the master, but he's a youth among his beloved friends who love him more than life itself. These friends saw Krishna not as the master of the universe, but as their dear companion. Though Krishna lived in his form Jagannath in the magnificent Puri temple, he was always remembering those loving times in the forest when he played among his friends as equals, without the formality or inhibition of the magnificent palace. So each year at Rath Yatra, leaving behind his queen and his royal palace, he took with him his brother Balaram and his sister Subhadra, and he sought the intimate company of his childhood friends. This mood of Vrindavan was emphasized by Lord Chaitanya throughout his life, and especially during Rath Yatra. And so he made it, Rath Yatra became the climax of the year. His followers in Navadvip, whom he'd left behind, each year they would come on pilgrimage to join Lord Chaitanya at Rath Yatra, and there would be a great meeting of friends, and they would meet the city dwellers of Jagannath Puri, and they developed, you can imagine, seeing them each year, great love. And it's all based around a shared attachment to Sri Chaitanya. So this is the mood of Rath Yatra, and that's why, as I say, I often wonder, what is it? Something special. When we come together at Rath Yatra, there's a different spirit. And I see now that it's because of the mystical energy of the occasion of coming to Vrindavan. And of course we're also told anyone who just sees Jagannath on this journey, just seeing the Lord, they're released from birth and death. They're liberated just by that one seeing Jagannath there on the chariot. Finally, after all the various meetings, we come to the gopis. After Mother Yasoda says, Prabhupada says, she took Krishna on her lap. How is that possible? How can, she would have been smaller than Krishna. How can a mother take her grown son on her lap? But she can. Yeah, if you are sitting like this, and Prabhupada sometimes he did that, when disciples would come in to see him, he would say, come closer.